Hi, my name is Attila Szőgyi, one of the designers of the upcoming board game called Impression. In the following video, I would like to make a brief overview about the game, what is it about and how it works. Impression is a complex board game for 2 to 4 players, ages 12 and above, and I developed it with my coworker Csaba Hegedűs. Starting from the 20th century, a technical revolution took place in the printing business. More and more advanced tools and devices were developed throughout the centuries, so the books and other printed materials became more and more popular and available. In Impression, you are managing printing companies with the primary goal to be the best in the business by developing new technologies, trading, opening factories, or even conquering Europe's printing market. Now, after this short overview, let's talk about the actual gameplay. In this tabletop setup we have all the game components, but now I prepared it for 2 players. Of course, these are prototype components, so they can change throughout the next weeks or months up until the release. The game takes place in several areas, which are the city, where you can do your actions with your assistants, the typesetting table, which controls the movement in the city and gives you letter tiles, the trading board, where you can buy new technologies and trade, the traveling area, where you can visit European cities, build factories, and where we have all the orders and contracts next to it. And finally, all players have their own workshops with an extension board. Now, what happens during the game? The game consists of rounds, all of which are broken into several phases. We have an action phase, an order and contract phase, and the production phase. In each action phase we have 2 turns with the same rules. When it's your turn, you can choose from 2 options. Do a shop action or make a reset. If you do a shop action, you have to choose a lead letter from the supply and you have to place it onto the typesetting table onto an empty space. Regarding to how many tiles were already in the given row and column overall, you can move with one of your standing tradesmen. For example, in this situation, I would have 2 tiles overall in the given row and column, so I can move exactly 2, or I can pay coins to move more or less. But by default, you have to move exactly that many. During my movement, of course, I have to keep in mind some movement rules like not moving onto occupied spaces, touch a route only once, etc. If my tradesman finished its movement, I have to lay it down, meaning I cannot move it in this round again. Then I have to do an action on an adjacent tile. For doing that, I have to move one of my assistants onto the chosen tile, onto the chosen room. What's very important, you can only move an assistant if it's on a level 2 room. You cannot have more than 1 assistant on the same shop neither. Once I made my movement with my assistant, I immediately do the chosen action. The tiles have 2 options always. On the upper half we have a main action, and on the below part we have fast secondary actions, mainly resource incomes. The main actions can be increasing workforce, trade, technology, travel, or typesetting. Secondary actions can be increasing capacity, resource income, and letter action, which is basically again resource income. It's your choice how you play the game, but usually the players more likely will choose primary actions, and you will see why. In your turn, your second option is making a reset. What does it mean? If you choose the reset option, you have to choose a lead letter from the typesetting table. You have to throw away all adjacent letters and take the chosen one. With that, you have 2 options. You throw it away forgetting the resources shown on that, or you can keep that for later use. You can place it in your workshop if you have free space on the left of your workshop. That way you don't get the resources, but you can do further actions with the tile. Also, once you kept or throw away the letter, all of your assistants have to move down onto the secondary rooms, and you will get all resources where they land. You can do a reset anytime, but you have to keep in mind you get resources only for those assistants who can move from a primary level down to a secondary. In addition, on the shop action or reset, you have a chance to do as many optional actions as you want, like activating contracts or do signboard actions. As I mentioned, all players have 2 turns in each action phase, then the orders and contract phase come. During the order and contract phase, each player has the opportunity to buy 1 order and/or 1 contract. The price of each order and contract, as well as the order of buying, is determined by your position on the order track. Once all players did the buying or have passed, the production phase begins. In the production phase, you may advance your orders based on your capacity and your available resources, all players at the same time. You can only advance the orders by as many stages as your capacity at the start of the production. After the preparation, a new run begins, and once we have no orders next to the travel board, the game end is triggered. The last round is finished, all players can use any unused signboards for actions, then we start the final scoring. At the end of the game, the player with the most victory points is declared the winner. That would be the core idea of the game. Of course, we have much more rules, and I didn't talk about any specific actions and options, but to keep this video short, I will stop here if you don't mind. In future videos we may discuss the details, but until that, thank you and stay healthy. Goodbye.